Woo! What's going on, guys? Arm Swarm coming at you guys today again. Today I'm going to continue with my series talking about some practice squad players. Getting closer and closer to week one matchup. But we're going to be talking some practice squad guys that little series got going on. And today we're going to be talking about the tight end group. They signed officially three practice squad tight ends to the roster. And let's get right to it. It was Brock Wright, Jared Pinckney, and Shane Zylstra. Let's start off with tight end Brock Wright, 22 years old, 6'5", 260 pounds. You guys know who he is. We signed him after the 2021 draft in April as an undrafted free agent, right out of Notre Dame. He's Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Undrafted, like I said, 2021 Detroit Lions, so he hasn't been with any other team. Now he's still on the Detroit Lions. I did think though at one point that he was not signed back, but from what I've seen, he was released and then they signed him to the practice squad. Now, if that's not right, let me know. But I'm pretty sure he's back on the practice squad. I'm not 100% on that, but I've seen that he is. I thought for sure they didn't re-sign him back, but it looks like they did. But anyways, his college numbers was very, very small. 7 catches, 78 yards and a touchdown, 3 years. He's basically a blocking tight end. Became more of an H-back and a fullback in college. He was actually highly recruited at a high school. He was supposed to be in a really good 1-2 punch with him and Cole Kmet. If you don't know who Cole Kmet is, I believe he was a second-round pick by the Chicago Bears. Had a really nice career at Notre Dame and got himself picked in the second round. And he was supposed to kind of take over for Cole Kmet. And then while they were both there together, they were supposed to be a nice 1-2 punch, but just never really panned out for Brock Wright there. He ended up just being more of a blocking tight end, H-back, fullback, whatever he was. Just his blocking skills were just really good. Never really became a receiving threat. So, but he's on the Detroit Lions roster right now. So we'll see where that takes him. Let's go to the second guy, Jared Pinckney, 24 years old, 6'4", 257 pounds, another big man. Vanderbilt Commodore, that's where he went to college. Undrafted free agent 2020, picked up by the Falcons. Falcons let him go, and the Tennessee Titans ended up grabbing him in 2021. And then the Tennessee Titans let him go, and we ended up signing him to our practice squad in 2021. So he's a Detroit Lion as we speak. His college numbers: 114 receptions, 1,560 yards, 13.7 yards per catch, and 14 touchdowns in a 4-year stint at Vanderbilt. His best year was about 2018, where he had over 770 yards, 7 touchdowns, and like 50 catches. So he had a really good 2018 going into the 2019 season. Kind of fell off a little bit. Didn't really pan out to be that receiving threat that everyone thought he was going to be. He ended up getting no NFL stats for Atlanta or Tennessee. He's more of a shorter route runner. And he'll go out in the flats, late releases. He's not going to really go up the seam on you. He's not going to go deep. Good hands, but really slow. Ran a really bad 40 time, 4.96. You almost see old linemen running better than that. And he is a willing blocker, not the best, but he is a willing blocker. Not overly athletic. He can absorb a hit though, decent balance is okay. Needs to work on some his footwork, I mean. And he's a hard worker, got some good strength to him. I think he repped out, 225, that was impressive at the combine. 20-something, 23, 24 times, so he's got some strength to him. He has the ability to become a viable, maybe tight end 2 eventually as a backup tight end. Right now, he's just a practice squad guy, so he's not on the 53-man roster. So that's where he is as we speak. He's got some ability to him. Nothing overly jumps on the page about this kid, but he does have a little bit of giddy up to him. I do like him. I remember him coming out a couple years ago. He was supposed to be a real high round pick, in 2020, but it didn't really pan out. It didn't pan out at all because his 2019 was bad. He had the 20-something catches or something like that. He just didn't have a really good year. Then he ended up going undrafted. So he's a guy that's on our roster right now. A guy maybe to keep an eye on, because I think this team's still looking for a tight end 3 as we speak. The Detroit Lions I'm talking about. Next guy I'm talking about is a guy that I'm really intrigued with. His name is Shane Zylstra. 24 years old, 6'4", 237 pounds. Went to Minnesota State Mankato Mavericks, Division II school. This kid won multiple awards in college, broke tons of records for like receptions, yards, receiving touchdowns, single season records for yards and touchdowns and catches. He broke all kinds. He was a wide receiver in college at Minnesota State, and he transitioned to tight end. He was about 6'4", 215 pounds, 212 pounds in college. Now he's almost 240. Now he's a big boy, and he looks good. Like, it's not bad weight on him. You know what I mean? When some of these guys put on about 15, 20 pounds, they don't really look the part. This kid looks the part. He was a first-team All-American, first-team All-Academic. His older brother, Shane Zylstra, plays for the Carolina Panthers. Now, both these guys started for the Minnesota Vikings. Like, they got picked up as undrafted free agents. They're both from the Minnesota area, and Shane actually was an all-star in the CFL. You know what the CFL is? Canadian Football League right here. There you go. Boom right there. Boom right there. It's called the CFL, the Canadian Football League. I know some of you guys know who it is. He played for the Edmonton Eskimos. After Minnesota let him go, he was an all-star there, I think, for 1 or 2 years. I don't really follow Canadian football a lot, even though I am Canadian and I live in Canada. I don't follow Canadian football that much. I do watch it every now and then. I have nothing against it. It's just I've just never really gotten into it. My pops was into it big time. The pops almost actually went to, he was supposed to go back in the day and play in the CFL, but he ended up getting married and ended up having kids, so he didn't do that. But he was a star. His older brother, Shane Zylstra, was a star for the Edmonton Eskimos. He ended up getting picked up by the Carolina Panthers, and I think now he's there. I don't know if he cracked the 53, but I think he might have last year as a punt returner, kick returner. He's a bit smaller than his brother Shane, but he's got some giddy up too. Shane Zylstra, he's got some speed to burn, and he plays for the Carolina Panthers right now. Don't know if he cracked that 53 though. But the college numbers for the Shane Zylstra kid are astronomical. And when I found out we picked this kid up, I'm like, okay, I got to check who this kid is. First of all, let's just get this out of the way. He was an undrafted free agent 2020, 2021 or something like that by the Minnesota Vikings. Like I said, a homegrown kid. His story is really good. He's a hell of a football player. Minnesota just outright released him though. They picked him up in May, and then just released him in August, or the end of August, or whatever it is, whenever we picked him up. But he was just picked up by Minnesota not too long ago, and they waived him 4 or 5 months later. Now his college numbers, like I said, are ridiculous. 227 catches, 4,297 yards, 18.9 yards per catch, 54 touchdowns in 4 years. Do the math. That's insane. So he had monster seasons in 2018 and 2019 for Minnesota State, especially 2019. He caught 81 passes for 1,600 plus yards and 18 scores. I think he even ran in a touchdown. So he had 19 scores overall. The kid was untouchable in Division II football. absolutely untouchable. When I put the tape on this kid, good speed, can get up, can jump, very athletic, got good speed, runs good routes. His speed is what kind of stood out for me. Why he didn't get drafted was maybe he didn't have a good combine speed, maybe his 40 wasn't good, but on the field, this kid's speed was very, very evident. Couldn't be stopped. I'd see 2-3 guys on this guy in some film I watch, he'd just jump over them. The quarterback would just throw the ball up in the air and he'd just go get it. Him being 6'4", but back then he was about 15, 20 pounds lighter. Now he's moved over to tight end. Lions picked him up. He's a kid that really, really intrigues me. Like, and I'm like any other Lions fan. I fall in love with guys too. I fell for the Hunter Bryant train as well. He's still on our team, but he's on the NFI list, non-football injury list. But we won't see him for weeks. I think 6 weeks he's out, automatic. But I fall in love with guys too. This is a guy that I'm really intrigued. No, he's not going to take TJ Hawkinson's spot. But don't forget that Darren Fells is 30-something years old. And they could be still looking for that TE3, that tight end 3. This could be a guy that could maybe come in and shine, be a total receiving threat. Don't see him being really a blocking threat, but he has put some weight on, and I'm sure he's gotten himself better at blocking. But let's just face the facts. He's not a blocking tight end. He's not. That's not what he is. And I know Dan Campbell preaches that heavy, big time. But this kid right here has got athletic ability. He's dynamic with the ball in his hands. He's got great hands. I'm surprised he wasn't drafted. I don't really understand it. There's always something behind it not getting drafted. Maybe it was a school competition. It just happens, right? But if you put the tape on this kid, it's like, wow, I need this guy. I need this guy at least on my roster to see what type of player he is, to develop. And I think Brad Holmes seen it, and he was like, wow, we got to get this guy on the roster. We got to somehow maybe he's only 24. Maybe he could be the backup eventually to TJ Hawkinson. Have that dangerous 1-2 punch for the future. Who knows? But he's a guy that I really, really like. Hopefully they keep him on the roster. Surprised Minnesota got rid of him. I know they're kind of loaded. They're kind of loaded at the tight end spot. They're young there too. That Herb Smith over there, Tyler Conklin. Drafted another guy really early. I can't remember his name. They picked up Brandon Dillon. There's a couple guys. They have 3 or 4 guys over there. So it's just one of those cases where there just wasn't no room for him, and they didn't want to make him a wide receiver for some reason too. Okay, another man's trash is another man's treasure. I'm not saying this guy's trash at all because I don't think he is. But I think this kid can develop, and I'm really interested in Shane Zylstra. It's a guy that I'm really going to keep an eye on, and hopefully he makes it up to the 53 and showcase some of his talents. I think he's a talented kid, man. I'm just shocked we have him. I'm glad we have him. So that's good, man. And those are the 3 tight ends that we got, guys. Brock Wright, Jared Pinckney, and the man, Shane Zylstra. I'm excited about that kid right there. Who knows what happens with him though, right? So, but thanks for the video, guys. Thanks for paying attention. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button on the bottom right. Don't forget to hit the notification bell, get all my videos, and don't forget to like and comment. It's all about the likes and comment. Go Lions, and I got another video coming out soon about the week 1 matchups versus the San Fran 49ers. Stay tuned. Boom.